Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother***ing ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I'm Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is Lord of Shadow, Dan Ryan.
Oh, I'm just right over there, these are mine. All these shadows.
It is 10, 20, 30, 40 time once again, where Dan and I discuss notable game releases from 10, 20, 30, and 40 years ago this month. This segment has been pretty dire so far this year, but maybe this month will change that. Power up your Super FX chip because the Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now. Hello, everyone. This is episode 456. Yes, it's 456. It is the week of March 31st, 2023.
So sequential.
So Dan tells me you have a story. You have a story for me.
I do. I have a story about free stuff. I love free stuff.
Tell me a duck story.
Well, duck walked into the lemonade stand.
Dean tweeted me some sort of video somebody made that's a gritty reboot of the duck story, which is it's pretty funny.
Every now and again, I will grab my acoustic guitar and go up to my children's room. And whichever room they both happen to be hanging out in at whatever time, and I will kick the door open and look at them, and it's just a ducky look that I have on my face. And they, Dad? Well, Dad? Well, the duck walked into. Get out! It's awesome.
Surprised you wait that long. I thought you were going to go like Peter Griffin, Bird is the word, and just kick down the door.
No, so that may be in a litany of annoying husband things I do. That may be the one that when they make the documentary on why Tiff has snapped and killed all of us, it's going to be like, he really thought the bird is the word thing from Family Guy 20 years ago was still fucking funny, and it isn't.
And he was right.
He was 100% correct, and I had to remove him from the earth because of it. And I don't even have to, I don't know, I would love to know what fucking face I'm making, because when I mean, the kicking, the acoustic guitar and the looking at the kids, they know what's coming. But I'll turn to Tiff and I'll be like, "Oh, hun," and she'll don't fucking do it. She knows exactly what's coming. Or if I'll take the junk mail and be like, "Oh, that's interesting." Certain ornithological event.
Brian, no.
So funny. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, we were just talking that I need to buy a new record player. Because the record player I have, I'm so happy that I got a record player. Very, very, very excited about it. But it's one of those suitcase record players. Right? Which is fine. It's whatever. It's a suitcase record player, and I have it plugged into a sound bar. What fucking kind of plebeian shit is that? It's nonsense.
I mean, yeah, the point of the record player is that it has the unique sound, and I have a shitty record player as well. It's a little tiny thing that I got from Staples when my real record player was in the shop, and I listened to a couple records on it. I was like, well, at this point, I should be just listening to MP3s, because
the
whole point of the record player is that it has that unique sound. That if you're not getting a better quality experience than just listening to MP3s, then what's the point?
Right. And I certainly get a difference, right? There's definitely a difference listening to things, even on this, pedestrian record. Entry level is a better way. It's not a bad record player by any stretch of the imagination. For where I was when I got it in October and I had no records. Now that I've got close to 100 records, like, because you know the way I am about things. I'm like, ooh, a new hobby. Let me do all of it all at once. It's just my collection has grown by leaps and bounds by both of those things. Like this past weekend, Tiff, for Christmas, we got Katie tickets to go see Cats in Philly. And there, Tiff was like, in November when we were talking about it, she was like, "Do you think all four of us should go?" And I was like, "Fucking no, it's Cats." I love Broadway theater. Like, don't get me wrong. I will go and see almost anything. But in the almost, like, just outside of almost is fucking Cats.
It's Cats.
I hate it. Basically anything Andrew Lloyd Webber is, in my opinion, hot garbage. But he's a fucking gajillionaire. What do I know? It's just not my thing. So anyway,
you and my wife get along just fine in that regard.
Oh
she also is
God,
not a huge fan.
Worst. Jesus Christ. Superstar. Fuck you. Fuck off. Get out. No.
She particularly hates Phantom. She's got a real problem with that.
I really hate Phantom too. I really do. It's not good. It's just, like, objectively. It's not fucking... These billions of people around the globe who have seen Phantom and love it, all fucking wrong. Anyway, so...
I just remember that Cats TV commercial. Remember when we were kids? It was on, like, all the time.
All the time.
And I just always look at it and be like, what is this?
And, like...
I don't understand what this is.
For the longest time... That maybe this is just me being stupid, but, like, for the longest time... I did not understand that they were supposed to be cats. I thought they were like cat people. Like a weird... Because, like, I grew up on, like, sci-fi and horror shit. You know what I mean? Like, I thought these were, like, cat humanoid. That they were, like, they're actual cats. That's what, like, everything, like, the stage set's real big and, like, there's a big boot that drops down, apparently. I'm like, this is fucking horrendous. Why would you do this to yourself? And then I had to watch the movie. Oh my God, that movie was so bad. Did you see it?
God, no.
Oh
no,
God.
I don't think I could do it.
It might be the worst movie I've ever seen.
I'm terrified that by the time we get back to the letter C in the theater near you,
somebody's
going to say Cats, and I won't be able to vote against it hard enough.
It's so bad. It's so bad. And, like, I like a lot of the people that are in it. I like Judi Dench. I like fucking Idris Elba. I like James Corden.
Ian McKellen's in there.
Ian McKellen's in there. I like Taylor Swift. Whatever. I'm Team Tay Tay. I don't give a shit. Fucking man enough to admit it. It's just, God, it was so bad. Anyway, short story long. So, go to see Cats. Hero and I go to a fucking dinosaur museum exhibit in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Museum of Natural Sciences. It's fucking dope. It was all dinosaurs, fossils, and shit.
Yeah,
Super
we took
cool.
John there for his birthday last year.
Oh, yeah. It's so cool. That fucking big T-Rex that's there.
The
that
big
giant
T-Rex
leg bone.
is so cool.
Oh, it's
yeah.
so dope. I fucking love that place. It's great. And we just never taken Hero there because when we moved back, like, it just never happened. So dropped the kids off at dropped Tiff and Katie off at the theater. This was a matinee show. Took Hero over there. It was great. We're trying to figure out, we're trying to make it like a nice day for everybody. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to God, I hate this place with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. Because it's the restaurant that I'm just not even going to say. I'm not going to say what I actually want to say. I'll just leave it there. The kids wanted to go to Cheesecake Factory. Okay? I fucking detest Cheesecake Factory. I think it's the biggest piece of shit restaurant on the planet. But whatever. The day was for them. That's fine. We go to Cheesecake Factory. It's like 4:30 in the afternoon when they get there. Hour and a half wait. Of course it is. Fine. There's Barnes & Noble across the parking lot. Go across the parking lot and Barnes & Noble, looking around. Kids are looking at books or whatever, like young teen, goth, lesbian, vampire shit, whatever. I go over to look at the records. And I'm flipping through. And I'm like, well, I'm buying this one because they had a copy of Alice in Chains' Dirt. And I was like, yes, 100% having that. And then I'm flipping through, and then I get Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. Yes, I am also having that. Thank you very much, Barnes & Noble. I walk out of here with an Alice in Chains record and a fucking Guns N' Roses record because I have had to listen to people talk about Cats for the last hour, and I deserve it. So anyway, I don't even know how I got over here. Oh, record player. So I need a new record player, right? Because I don't want to fuck up my records. That's kind of like the thing with like the cheaper suitcase record players is that they're not properly balanced. They're cheaply made. They can over time fuck up your records, and they don't sound as good, right? Because the other thing that started me down the path of like, all right, I really do need to get a new player is that a couple of weeks ago, I took Katie over to her friend's house, and like it was a Saturday, Tiff was at work, and I took Katie and Hero over to the friend's house, and one of the girls that they go to school with, and I was like, is it like, how long do you want them to stay here? Like, do you want me back in an hour? Because it was like a real impromptu thing. Like their friend Ash called up, and it was just, hey, come on over. Okay, cool. How long do you want them to stay here? Whatever. I was like, because I'm gonna go out to the record store. And I mean, I can take an hour there. I can take 2 hours and go to a couple places. She was like, records? What do you mean? I was like, like records, like vinyl records. And she was like, come here. Okay. So I'm talking to the kid's grandmom. She's, come here. She brings me into the front room. Now, it's grandma and mom and then the two kids that live there. Grandpa passed away 4 years ago, and he was a musician. So I knew he had like a bunch of musical stuff, right? Equipment. He had drums and guitars and amps and stuff, and we had talked about that a little bit. But she was like, grab a couple records if you want. And I was like, well, okay. And I look over, and there are just boxes and boxes of like 70s, 60s and 70s like rock and like metal and fucking all the shit that when I go to the record store and I look through the stuff that I'm trying to find to buy at a reasonable price, she was like, take as much as you want. I'm going to call his sister. She's been saying she's going to come get these and look through them for 4 years, and she hasn't done it yet. So take whatever you want, and then the next time you're here, you can take more. And then if she hasn't like come over here, you can just have everything. And it's like 6 or 7 big boxes of vinyl, hundreds of vinyl. So I'm looking through, and I'm like every Black Sabbath record. And I was like, you're serious? Like, you don't want any money for these? And she's like, no, please take them. It would make him so happy to know that somebody was taking his records and listening to them and loving them. And she gave me like almost all of the Black Sabbath records, a couple Beatles records, fucking a ton of David Bowie records. And I don't even love Bowie that much, but it was like early Bowie, the stuff that I do, like fucking the original pressing of Hunky Dory. You know what I mean? Like crazy shit. Fucking some Grateful Dead records, Hendrix records, Rolling Stones, like all the stuff, like when you're thinking, what are the vintage rock records that you would want to have? She just gave them all to me. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you gave me, she gave me like close to $2,000 worth of records. And I was like, I told her too, I was like, this is like, you could sell this at a good, and she was like, if you tell me that one more time, I'm going to take you up on it. I'm telling you to take them. Please take them. I was like, that is so fucking generous and awesome, and thank you so much. And I went home and just like listened to records, but I don't want to fuck them up. You know what I mean? Because now I have these like expensive old records. It was fucking awesome. Like, I came home and put on an original copy of Black Sabbath Paranoid. Like, fuck me, dude. That's incredible. And I know that's not like really your style of music, But
no,
you
but I
know
can
what
appreciate
I'm talking
that.
about, right?
I
Like
know what you're talking about.
you get that kind of stuff, and there was a bunch of Zappa records and stuff too. I was like, oh my god, fucking Frank Zappa. And she was like,
Yeah, we have a lot of that. Karen's dad was a big Zappa fan, so we have
Zappa's the
a lot
best.
of Zappa records.
He's the
We even have a
best.
couple of duplicates. It's insane.
It's fucking crazy, and like, I was just, man. So now I've got to I have already outgrown the storage space that I had set up for the records. Like I'm already way over that. So I've got to build something now to fucking house my records, and I've got to get a new record player and speakers. That's what I've got to get. That's next on the list.
Well, the IKEA Calyx, I think, is what they are.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. They're inexpensive. They're perfectly sized for records.
Yeah, I've been looking at those because I've got the old, before it was called the Calyx, whatever it was called before that. It's basically the same thing except the side walls and the top and the bottom are a little thicker. The interior boxes are still the same size. Whatever the thing was called before that, I've got 2 of them down here in the office, but I don't like the record players up in the living room. Because we usually what we'll do is at dinner time, all right, kids, whoever's turn it is for that night, pick a number between 1 and 50, and I'll just start, boom, that's the record we're listening to tonight. So like one night it'll be Jimi Hendrix and fucking Herbie Hancock was the pick the other night. Fucking Herbie Hancock's Headhunters. That record is so fucking good. It's so good. But then
when our kids are a little older, we should probably start doing that with the collection that we inherited.
It's just because you just pick out a random thing and you're like, this is awesome, and you introduce the kids to it. Like Hero really kind of digs the Grateful Dead now. Because she had never heard them before, and like she's very similar to me. She's like, I like it when the one guy sings, but not the other guy. I was like, I know, right? I like it when Jerry Garcia sings. Bob Weir fucking starts singing. I'm like, nah, this isn't my thing. I don't like this. Anyway, so I need a new record player. But what a cool fucking thing that was.
That is a cool fucking thing. I love that.
That's gifted this incredible collection of records that I just everything I could, I was blown away.
That's the thing about I don't want to say real collectors because that just sounds horrible, but that's people who collect this stuff because they love it and then eventually don't need it anymore. That's the thing that like brings them real joy is like, oh, this is going to go to somebody who wants it, not somebody who's going to put it on a shelf and then sell it because it's a prestige item. It's going to go to somebody who, is going to give it a good home. And that's all the stuff that I've gotten rid of. I've let go of for lower prices than usual. And I'm like, all right, you got to give it a good home. You got to love and appreciate this stuff. Then sure, have at it. You know, that's the cool stuff. You just love to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the look on her face when she was like, you would have really gotten along with my husband very well. He would be very happy for you to have these. And I was like, fuck, man, like that's awesome. That's really cool. And like she's really good to my kids when they're there. And we've certainly done stuff for them, like, because they're less well off than we are, and like that's whatever. So when we can help them out and give them things like when the girls decided that they wanted to split their rooms up, we had these really nice like big heavy like real wood loft beds, and they had 2 kids. Like, do you guys like, I'll disassemble them, I'll bring them over to your house, I'll set them up, the kids can have these like really fucking awesome beds. And they were like, yes, oh, thank you so much. We got a new TV. I gave them like our old flat screen TV. I was like, here, just fucking, here, have a fucking, just whatever the 55-inch or 60-inch one that I had before I got the thinner one or whatever. I was like, yeah, here, have it, take it, because I'm very similar to you, where it's just like I've appreciated this and used this thing. It's still in good working order, and it could go to somebody who needs it more than I do.
Looks like that kid with the CRT that I gave him a while back.
Yeah.
The parents were just like, he wanted to experience Genesis games the right way, and I was like, it's yours. No money. Take it.
Sold.
Take it.
So, like, put good out into the universe, Kris. Good comes back to you eventually. I think.
That's what I hear.
That's what they keep fucking telling me. Ah, man, I got a whole stack of records upstairs that proves it.
Well, speaking of records, I was in my local record shop earlier this week, and I found out that Cake's Prolonging the Magic was just released on vinyl, so I picked that up.
Very nice.
Love that album.
I
apparently
like
they've been releasing all of their albums thus far, and I completely missed out on Motorcade of Generosity, which is, of course, going for like $150 on eBay now.
Yeah. Well, that's why, like, when I saw Appetite for Destruction, it's a more recent reissue of it and whatever. Like, I know it's not the original pressing because that goes for like stupid money online, but even this newer, I think it was like $30 at Barnes and Noble or whatever, and I get it. I have membership, the Barnes and Noble whatever fucking thing that I pay for because we go there quite often. And it's like just a flat like 15% off of everything, like Lego sets, records, whatever. So I think I got it for like $25 or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's not even a question because a regular copy of that's like $40, I think, in most places, 35, 40. I was like, yeah. Plus, Appetite for Destruction it's the first cassette tape that I consciously remember purchasing. Like, I got that in first grade. I remember I got it at the Kmart in Williamstown, New Jersey. I made my mom buy it for me. And it had the original, and the vinyl has it too, the original cover on the inside, with the big monster and the girl, like, in the street, and, like, her dress is all, like, ripped open and her tits hanging out and whatever. At that first grade, I was like, oh, I can't fucking show this to anybody. And then I eventually got that as like a back patch on my denim jacket in first grade. This fucking girl's boob out on my fucking jacket. I just wore it around like that was okay. Fucking 80s were wild. I was 7 years old walking around with a naked chick on the back of my denim jacket. It was interesting. But I love that record so, like, and it still holds up. You're not a big Guns N' Roses guy. But man, does that first record fucking hold up. It's so good.
I haven't listened to it in ages.
Oh, it's so good. It's so there's not a bad song on the entire thing, which cannot be said for the rest of Guns N' Roses catalog. Like, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, they're pretty good. Use Your Illusion 1 is better than 2, but there are some fucking stinkers on both of them. There's a couple where you're like, nope, I don't need to listen to that ever again.
And those are the kinds of albums that I don't buy on vinyl.
Exactly.
Because, if I'm going to want to skip tracks, then I'm not going to want to buy it on vinyl.
Yeah, no, that's a pain in the ass. I'm
Yeah.
going to do that. I'm not trying to do that. Anyways.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for the next couple of Cake albums being reissued on vinyl. Hopefully I notice them before they disappear. Like, I know Fashion Nugget just came out. I'm not so crazy about that album. I like it. I like all the Cake albums, even their most recent one. Well, their most recent one was over 10 years ago now.
I was going to say, this recent is an interesting way to put it.
Their last new album was a Showroom of Compassion, which it was their only album that I was like, I don't really like this. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Like, even Fashion Nugget, it's my least favorite of their albums, but like, there's still great songs on it, great songs on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not terribly brokenhearted about missing that one. I am super upset that I missed Motorcade of Generosity because I fucking love that album. But their next ones, Comfort Eagle and Pressure Chief, are like ridiculously good. So I'm got my eyes peeled for those.
Are they doing anything? Record Store Day is next month, right? It's April something or other.
Oh God, is it? There's a couple of them a year. I haven't looked into this one.
There's another one. Frank Turner has the 10th anniversary of vinyl release of Tape Deck Heart, which I fucking love Frank Turner so much. And ODB is putting out they're putting out the ODB Old Dirty Bastard, because I don't know if you were picking up on that or not.
Yeah, I picked up on that.
Okay, all right. His first
not
solo
that
record.
far out of the loop.
I mean, but it's been a while since that's been relevant. You know, it's just you're not a big Wu-Tang guy either. You're not a big Guns N' Roses guy, not a big Wu-Tang guy.
I'm trying to find a list of all the stuff that's coming out.
There's a whole
See if
bunch.
there's anything.
I don't remember if there was
anything that I need.
Yeah. It's
Joan Jett, Carole King, John Lennon.
I don't
Donna.
I don't know that it's April 20th, but like I feel like 420 is a day that they
April 22nd.
22nd. Okay, I thought it was right around there.
Pearl Jam. I like Pearl Jam, but I don't think I like any one album of theirs enough to seek it out. I'm not seeing anything that I need so far.
I mean, I know you haven't, even with all the prodding that I've done, I know you haven't listened to Frank Turner, but you really should. You really would love it.
Well, perhaps we'll have to do an episode of a.
Don't fucking threaten me with a good time. I don't even know if I could pick 10 songs though. That's the thing.
That's the challenge.
Oh man,
you gotta pick 10.
I could.
That's all you get.
Let me know when you want to do it. I'm totally down to do Frank Turner. Totally down. Anyway, I've talked enough. You've been video games. Anything? I got one. I got a couple things to talk about. Yeah. Right. Now that we're an hour into the show and we've talked about vinyl records for an hour.
I guess I don't have a ton. I'll just run down the list. I finished Prime Remastered,
nice.
Super, and Fusion, and I've started Dread.
Holy shit! I guess it's been 2 weeks. We didn't.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Prime Remastered, it took some time because that's a big old game. Super Metroid, I can beat in a night. That's not a problem. I can do that blindfolded. Fusion.
Oh, it's so good.
Fusion's really good.
I love
Fusion. It is way too talky. And
every
time I go back to that game, and I know it hasn't been that long since I played this one, but even just having been like a year or two ago, playing it this time, just like, man, shut up.
Just let me get back to the game.
All the postulating about Adam and his calling her lady and thinking it sound dignified. It's like, boy, the writing really was on the wall for Other M, like already in this. Like,
it really was.
You gotta stop this, right? And I'm so glad
at the beginning of that game too. Like it feels like every third room.
Right at the start, it's like a monologue after monologue every time you get in an elevator, and then it draws back a bit, and like the whole plot is interesting. It's just all the Adam stuff is like
I don't
know.
Well, that moment when the ex Samus, like the first time she pops up.
Oh, the SAX.
The SAX. Yeah, thank you. It's so cool and so intimidating and scary, and like it's so good. But then there's like another fucking 10 minutes of talking. All right.
Every single time the SAX shows up. And like what made me really happy about playing it here, because I played it on the Switch, so there's a rewind button. Mm-hmm. So every time the SAX showed up, I did the dumbest shit I possibly could. I was like, I'm going for it.
I'm going to get her.
Because I got nothing to lose now. I can just rewind and then hide. But this time, like, SAX show, let's see what I can do. Nothing. Dead. Dead.
Nothing. Dead quickly.
But yeah, Fusion's great. I love it. And then just jumping right from Fusion to Dread is also like, wow, that's an evolution right there. Just how much tighter that game feels. The game feels just liquid smooth. Was having an interesting conversation in the Discord chat about the plot of that game, and you still haven't finished Dread, right?
Yeah, and I don't know why. I don't have a good reason why I haven't. It just kind of lost me about halfway through.
You should start over again.
I'm gonna at some point.
You should do that and finish it, because like this last boss fight's really good. It's really hard, but it's really good. But there's I guess I don't want to necessarily talk spoilers much on there. Then
I mean, you really can at this point. Like we are well past when I should have finished it.
there's this bit at the end where the bad guy is impersonating Adam, or your computerized version of Adam.
Right.
And there's a school of thought that says that it's been Ravenbeak the entire game.
Huh.
And that's not how I read it when I played the game, because
Right.
like they say in the beginning, communications are going to be limited, so I'll only be able to talk to Adam's like, I'll only be able to talk to you at these specific stations. And then everyone says right after that point, from that point on, it's been Ravenbeak the entire time, which causes all these major, like, weird plot holes. Like, why would he help you out with all this thing if it was been Ravenbeak the whole time?
Right.
And I'm trying to pay really close attention to it this time. And so far, I haven't seen anything that points to it being Ravenbeak other than when I played the game the first time, I only thought it was Ravenbeak impersonating Adam for like the last one, because I figured it's been Adam the entire time. And as far as I can remember, there's nothing specifically that points out that no, it's been Ravenbeak the whole time. Because the things that have been thrown out are like, well, he never calls you lady for the rest of the experience, and he's also really like arrogant and tells you about how weak you are. I'm like, that's Fusion. That's Adam. Adam calls you lady like, I don't know, like 6 times throughout the entirety of Other M, which is like 460 trillion lines of dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like he obsessively calls you lady. And also,
hey lady, nice lady, what are you doing, lady?
And Adam's got no qualms about telling Samus how outclassed she is.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of the personality. So like those two things, like I can kind of see where they're coming from, but I also don't think they're dead giveaways either. And I think it's intentionally vague because I think it's cool that it's a question. It's not clear exactly when it happens, but I'm paying extra close attention to it this far, and I'm not sure I'm sold on the theory that it's been that it's Ravenbeak the entire game.
Yeah,
I'm not sold yet. Maybe something else is going to happen throughout the course of the game, and I'm not gonna. I'm gonna think it's. I'll agree, but right now I'm still sticking with my original thought process from when I played the game. Like, that last conversation seemed suspect as fuck, and that's when Samus picks up like, "You're not Adam," and then you get to the awesome final boss fight.
Yeah.
Ravenbeak was so awesome. But yeah, Dread's wonderful. All those games are wonderful. Love me some Metroid. Still playing Kid Icarus Uprising. Same exact feelings. The game's amazing, but the controls are what the fuck. I picked up Caverns of Mars on the VCS. It's really good. I suck at it, though. I'm really bad at this game. I was starting to get into a pretty good groove this past weekend. But like usually I'll spend like 15 minutes or so on it and then be like, all right, time to switch to Yars Recharged, because I'm bad at this. But I'm really glad I bought it because it is really good. It's exactly as good as I hoped it would be.
Nice.
We jumped back into Switch Sports recently for the we never really got around to playing the golf update. So I was finally like, all right, it's my family pick. We beat Ninja Turtles a few weeks back. So let's try this golf thing out. And the kids freaking loved it. I think it's great. Karen hates it. Karen has... The motion controls do not agree with Karen, and I don't understand why. It happens with the bowling. It happens with like everything that we play, even when we were playing just Wii Sports. So it's not like the Switch Joy-Cons or anything. We were playing Wii Sports bowling, and it's just be like, sometimes it works for her and she'll get in a groove, and then other times it's just like, I don't know what you're doing wrong, but it just keeps like dropping the ball or things go flying off the side. It's like, I don't know what it is. She could not get the hang of the golf. It's just getting really pissed off at it. Me and the kids are just having a ball, and she's just like anger. So I don't know what's up with that, but good times. I also this is funny because this is going to come up later in the episode. The Harmonite. I jumped back into Harmonite on the 3DS because I like to play a little 3DS before while Ellie's getting ready for bed, right? Because Ellie likes playing 3DS before we do story time, and I'm totally into supporting that. And I was playing Kid Icarus Uprising, but I'm at the point in the game where the stages are just too damn long.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time to get through a level before she gets done brushing her teeth and getting her pajamas on.
Right.
So I decided to switch to the one Mario platformer that I've never beaten before, which is New Super Mario Bros. 2. And after about a day of that, I decided to stop because I just don't like that game. I just don't think that game is very good. I love the original DS one. I like the Wii one. I think the Wii U one is very good. But I keep trying to play New Super Mario Brothers 2, and I'm like, this just
doesn't hit for you.
It seems so forced in every respect. It's like, hey, it's the Raccoon Leaf again. Neat. And I fought Reznor from Super Mario World. I guess that's kind of cool. Like, and Super Mario World's my favorite games, but it's all boiled down to that extremely simplistic, sterile New Super Mario Brothers art style.
Yeah.
And the music is horrid. The music is just putrid in that game because it's the same tunes from New Super Mario Brothers,
right?
Which they then used the same graphics and music from New Super Mario Brothers in New Super Mario Brothers Wii, except touched them up a little bit. I was like, all right, I will tolerate this. But then they did the same thing again for New Super Mario Brothers 2, except they took out the twirl jump from New Super Mario Brothers Wii, which that made the New Super Mario Brothers games feel truly unique to me. Because in New Super Mario Brothers U, it was even better because the twirl jump was no longer relegated to shaking the Wii remote. It was a button press. And that's phenomenal. The twirl jump that just changes 2D Mario games wonderfully. But it's not in New Super Mario Brothers 2 for some goddamn reason. And the music, they doubled down so hard on that goofy ass bwah thing that all, the little guys go bwah bwah in the back.
Yeah.
But now, like, the main melody of the song, it says bwah 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 bwah. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? This is horrible. Horrible. So I'm like turning the volume down. I was like, I don't want to play Mario games on mute. I like Mario game music. Why are you hurting me? So I turned that game off and I switched over to Harmonite, which is a really, really cool game from Game Freak. Game Freak makes wonderful games when they're not making Pokemon games. Nothing against Pokemon games, but their non-Pokemon games are really freaking good. And Harmonite's great. It's this wonderful, like, auto-running rhythmic platformer game. It's really super clever. You have like this stick that you got to thwap things with. You got to like beat enemies on rhythm and jump on rhythm. But then there's also all these like things in the background that you can smack with the stick to get extra points and stuff. It's a really clever game. It's got really good graphics, really catchy music, a ridiculously stupid story that's kind of fun. Harmonite's wonderful, and it's going to go away forever once the eShop closes in a couple of days because there is no other release for it. It's just a digital release on the 3DS. It's a bummer. But I've been replaying that, and that's been really fun. And I guess the only other game-related thing that I did was I bought tickets to the Mario movie because I'm a big nerd.
Nice.
Went to the movie theater. We have a local movie theater that's like, it's a movie theater. People work there. You don't just go up to a touch screen and you have to go up to, like, they have a window outside that you can, box office to buy tickets on that's connected right to the, like, they still simplified it a lot. Like, it's still, the ticket booth is now at the concession stand. That's rolled into one, and that's fine. I'm actually pretty happy about that in a general sense because that means I don't have to get into two different lines. That's good streamlining right there. Good work.
I'm at the stage of life where I don't like fucking lines. That's what I don't want to be in.
I do not. So that's nice. But this Tilton Theater is like, it was recently I felt so bad for these guys. I'm so glad they're still in business.
The Tilton 9? Is that what it was?
Yeah. That was the Tilton 9. Yeah.
The fuck did I see? I saw Kill Bill there.
Good times. Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry. So that was closed for a long time, and then it was purchased and renovated right before the pandemic.
Oh God.
I think they were planning on opening like 2 weeks after the pandemic started. I think it was just ridiculous. So I'm so glad that they managed to stay in business, and they seem to be doing well, and they're probably going to do a lot better when the big AMC theaters by us is closing down, because AMC's closing down a bunch of locations because they're awful.
Yeah.
But the Tilton's still there, and they got all these super cushy seats and everything. And went in. I talked to somebody and bought my tickets and picked my seats. So got the reserved seats all set up. We're going after school. We're going to the earliest showing that we can on Wednesday. Kids, like, there was a 3:00 show. I was like, I can't make that. I can't get them out of school and then get to the theater by 3. But there was a 4:30 show at Tilden. I was like, yep, this is what we're doing. We'll pick them up, take them home, get them a quick snack, and then we're going to go see the Super Mario Brothers movie on opening day. I'm so excited.
That's really awesome. That's really awesome.
Everybody's happy about that.
I don't know that I'm going to get to the theater to see that, but which I know is fucking terrible. And I want to.
Not surprising in the least. You're not a big Mario fan.
No, I know, but like, I feel like I should. I don't know. It was their opening weekend for the fucking Sonic movies, so both of them. So
that's true, but your kids are big Sonic fans. Are your kids big Mario fans?
No, they're my kids.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So
they would be really fucking hyped for like a Mortal Kombat movie. Like, yes, opening day, we're so there. Or fucking, I don't know, fucking MLB The Show movie. Like, oh, yes, baseball movie. We're in. I think they made that. It's called Field of Dreams. Anyway,
MLB The Show, the movie,
the movie, the game, the movie, the game, the experience, the app.
Musical enough, none of those things are actually a show.
No, not a single one of them, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I don't know. I do want to see it. Like, I think it looks okay. I'm not super excited for it. I don't know.
I am. I think it looks great.
No, I hope it's amazing. I hope it's great. I hope it is so successful that they're like, fuck yeah, we're doing a Metroid TV show. It's going to be awesome. We're going to like fucking take Legend of Zelda seriously and like do that shit right.
I hope it's as good as it looks. It looks like it's been made with an awful lot of care, and that I find that seems to be the trick that everyone's learned from like The Last of Us. Like, whoa, wait, if we just respect the source material, people will like it.
Son of a bitch!
Holy shit! Who knew?
Who knew? All of us. You could have asked anyone. Everybody fucking knew. It wasn't a secret. It wasn't like a calculus class at 7:30 in the morning on a college campus. Like, we were trying to keep that shit a secret. You just gotta fuck. Anyway. Yeah, that's awesome. I hope it's amazing. I hope it, I hope they fucking sold you the whole seat, but that you only need the edge. That's how.
Same here.
That is how great I hope it is. Yeah. Anyway,
what else you got?
So what have I been doing? Man, so they made a change to Marvel Snap recently, where when you get up to the next level in the ranking mode, you go from like, so if you're on level 79, right, and you get to level 80, they boost you up to level 85. Which is really nice, because like it's a lot of cubes to get from, it's 100 cubes to get from 80 to 90, because it's oh, excuse me, it's 10 cubes per fucking level, so 80, 81, 82, 83, whatever. So, and rank 100 is infinite, and I am currently sitting, I want to be accurate in my details here, because it's really fucking hard at this point. I haven't hit infinite yet. But I am at 97.5. So I have 97 levels, and then I'm 5 cubes away from level 98. And I have been at level 95 for the last week or so, and I keep getting up to like 97.8. And then like, oh, fuck, I'm losing, back down to 94. And then I'll get up to like 95, and then, oh, fuck, I'm down to 93. Then I'll get up to 96, oh, down to 95. So like, I'm really trying to get infinite this season. I don't know why I care about it so much, but I do. I want to get there. So I've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap recently. It's just such a fun fucking game. Like, they just came out with a balance patch that was supposed to nerf a couple of cards. They didn't really do a great job nerfing the cards, though. Like, they kind of nerfed one. So Red Skull was a card that was a 5-cost card for 15 power, right? The trick to Red Skull, though, was that if you play him, whatever lane you play him in, there's 3 lanes per round, or per game. Whatever cards your opponent has, you can have up to 4 cards per location. Red Skull would give them each +2 power, okay? So if your opponent has 4 1-power cards there, you would get a total of 8 additional power from Red Skull to your opponent. So, like, you really kind of had to mix and match where you put it. Now, the reason that it wasn't that big a deal is because the Shuri card that is in the game doubles the power of the next card you play. So your 15 power Red Skull on the next turn became a 30 power Red Skull. And it was like, all right, well, you can have 8 fucking free points. It doesn't matter. This one card is worth 30. So they nerfed him down to 13 power, but he only gives 1 additional power to your opponents now. So it's like, all right, so it was 30, and I'm giving my opponents 8. Now when I play it with Shuri, it's 26, and I'm giving my opponents 4. Sold. Like, that was not, that's not a nerf, guys. I think you actually kind of made it better, which is awesome, and thank you. So I've just been playing, like, a ton of that, and just really, really fucking loving it. It's such a good game. It's so fun. And the next season that's coming out next month is Guardians of the Galaxy themed. And that one I think I am going to end up paying some money for, because I think the Nebula card looks kind of interesting. I am very excited to get the card back that's on there, because I know it's just fucking cosmetics. But it's a cassette tape, and I'm old, and it fills me with nostalgia, and I love that. So I'm like, yes, I'll fucking have that. Haven't played a ton of Puzzle and Dragons this week. I did pull a really good card from the Valentine's Day event. It's really nice when they a lot of the new cards in Pad are the background music cards, right? So you can change the background music of the dungeons that you're playing through after you beat them. And when they first started introducing those, I was like, people play games with their fucking sound on? That's weird. Because I always have the sound off on my phone. Like, I don't fucking need to listen to this. It's the same song over and over again for the last 10 years. Like, I'm not really all that excited. But like, the background music cards are $30. And you get 30 stones and the card and the background music. Or you have a very small chance of rolling them from the machine. And I have 5 or 6 background music cards that I have not paid for, because I have been extremely lucky in pulling them. And every time a new event comes around, there's always a 99-cent bundle or a $1.99 bundle that gives 1 or 2 stones and a free pull in whatever machine is running at the time. So for the Valentine's Day one, I did the 99-cent pull and got the fucking $30 background music card. So I was like, well, fucking sweet. Saved myself $29. Not that I was going to buy it, but now I don't have to. So I got that, and I haven't even built a team for it yet, because I've been playing Snap. And when I haven't been playing Snap, Tiff and I started and finished this week, which never happens, The Quarry. Okay, do you remember The Quarry from like a year or 2 ago?
I do not.
Okay. So, do you remember who Supermassive Games is?
Sort of. Sounds familiar.
Okay. They made...
They seem like a big deal.
Yeah. It's super massive. They made Until Dawn, and then the VR one, the Until Dawn Rush of Blood, Man of Medan, I think is how you say it. Basically, what they make a lot of the like choose your own adventure movie style games.
Little Nightmares.
Yeah, they publish Little Nightmares, which Hero's super into. And then they made a really big push, like, it was either last year or the year before, I don't remember, doesn't really matter, for The Quarry, which was another one of these, like, choose-your-own-adventure movie-style games. Like, they cast real actors to play the characters, all the facial recognitions and scans and all that stuff. This one stars fucking David Arquette, Brenda Song, the neighbor kid from what was the zombie show with fucking Drew Barrymore and Justified? The show that was on Netflix. in California. Did you watch that?
I didn't watch it, but I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay. The kid who was the neighbor in that show is in this game. Fucking Ethan Suppley's in this game or whatever. And like spoilers for this game. So if you haven't played The Quarry and you're interested, please fast forward. It is a game where it starts off, right, and you're working at Camp Hackett's Quarry. Okay, it's like a summer camp. And Mr. Hackett is played by David Arquette. And it starts off really, really weird. Like you're these two counselors and you're driving up to Hackett's Quarry and you are, like, it's up in the woods. It feels...
Santa Clarita Diet.
Thank you. Yep, that's the one. That show's awesome. If you're listening to this right now and you have not watched Santa Clarita Diet, you should. It's incredible. It also stops in a very frustrating place and there is no more coming, which fucking sucks, but it's worth it. So you're like these two counselors, right? And it feels like it takes place in like Oregon or something like that. But you're driving up to the quarry and it's a rainy night or whatever, and something jumps out in front of the car and you like go off into a ditch or whatever, and you start walking around the woods and like there's this weird like ghost woman walking around and Silas, right? Like you hear her keep saying Silas, and you find this like weird like area in the woods, and you pick up a flyer for the Harem Scarum traveling freak show. It's like, all right, that's kind of weird, right? And you're trying to fix the car and whatever, and this cop shows up and he starts talking to you and he's like, you know, what are you guys doing out here so late at night? And you're like, oh, we're trying to drive up to, you know, Hackett's Quarry. We're camp counselors. You know, we're going to work. And the cop is like, no, you're not going there tonight. You're going to the Harbinger Motel. Do not go to the camp. And they're like, that's fucking weird. And like, he's being a real fucking asshole about it. Like in a really strange, very suspicious way. Right? So being the good teenagers that you are in a horror movie, you drive to the fucking camp. And they're knocking on the door and nobody's there. And then they're starting to argue back and forth. Like the boy and the girl are arguing back and forth. We should have just gone to the fucking hotel. Like the cop said, there's nobody here. Did you talk to Mr. Hackett? No, he never picked up his phone. Well, why the fuck are we here? Blah, blah, blah. And then they hear a noise coming from the basement. And you go down into, you break the lock on this fucking storm door because it seems like the girl kind of like peers through and sees like a person down there making noise. And she's like, fuck, dude, there's somebody trapped down here. What's going on? You break the lock and you go down there and you get attacked by a monster. And then the cop shows up and stabs the girl in the neck with a fucking syringe and she passes out. And then the game goes to a fucking gypsy fortune teller. And you're like, all right, what the fuck is going on? This is super weird. And she starts telling you, like, oh, you're going to go on an adventure, and I'll be able to tell you certain things. We'll meet a bunch of times throughout the night, and blah, blah, blah. And if you find my tarot cards, I'll be able to help you predict some of your possible futures. So then you wake up the next day, and you're a completely different set of characters, right? And it turns out, short story long, it turns out that the camp counselor, Mr. Hackett, played by David Arquette, he's a werewolf, and his kids are werewolves. And the kid that you were in the first scene who got bit, well, he's also now a werewolf, and his brother is the cop, and that's why he was telling you not to go to the camp, because the day before camp opened was a full moon, and David Arquette locks himself in the basement so that he doesn't go out and hurt anyone. And then this whole like crazy horror story unfolds like as you're playing through there, and it's a choose your own adventure, and it was really, really good. Like it's really well acted and really well written, and the only thing that really held it back for me, like playing through it, is that there's so many different options. Like when you finish the game, it gives you a list of who survived the night and who didn't. Right? And there's a way to play through the game where everybody lives. Like there's all of these different paths, that you can take. But the problem is that in order to play through the story, it's like 10 hours. And I'm not playing through it again. You know, like, I liked it, but I didn't like it enough to play through it another 10 hours just to see what the other stuff is. If it were like a 3-hour game, you know, or like something that you could finish in a night, that would be a totally different story. Like, and I understand why they didn't make it a shorter game, but it feels like a missed opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, you've got all of these different paths you can go down and different choices you can make. And like, once you start the game over, you have a rewind feature that you can use 3 times in a second playthrough. So if you do something and a character dies or whatever and you don't like it, you can rewind it, but you only get 3 of those. It's like, man, I really do kind of want to see the rest of this fucking crazy werewolf story. They're really gross looking fucking werewolves. Like, graphics were awesome. Like, it looked great. It was really fun to play. But that part, and then if you imagine, right? Like, have you seen any of the Friday the 13th movies?
I don't think I actually have.
Okay.
I know I've seen some of them, but I don't think I've ever actually watched a whole one.
All right. Well, take what you know about a Friday the 13th movie, okay? In a 2-hour movie, they cover a night or two at the camp with Jason Voorhees attacking, right? Usually it's only about a day's worth of time that they cover. The way this game plays out, because it takes you about 10 hours to get through, you basically play through this entire story in quote-unquote real time. Like, when the sun goes down and the full moon comes out, shit comes off the rails, and it takes about 10 hours in real time before the sun would come up. You know, because it's the end of summer, and that's how long it's night for. And like I said, I understand why they went for that, but there were so many times playing through the game where I was like, I just wish there was a run button. There's no run button. I'm just walking from one end of this fucking camp to the other end of this camp. And a Friday the 13th movie would not be very good if it were 10 hours long. If I had to watch them, like, walk from set piece to set piece. So, like, those kind of quibbles aside, we played through this game this week, and we never do that. Like, we never start a game and finish it in a week. Certainly not like a AAA, 10-plus hour game. So, really awesome. If nobody has played The Quarry, and you like that kind of choose-your-own-adventure style stuff, this was really fucking cool. I liked it quite a bit.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you have enjoyed a game.
Mm-hmm.
It is good for you.
Yay, PlayStation Plus. A game I did not pay
for.
for.
I mean, you kind of did.
I mean,
well,
like PlayStation
Plus is free.
I didn't pay $60 for it when it came out, though. Yeah,
that is true.
It was,
and
like,
I'm glad you didn't.
I like these kind of games. Like Telltale was really big on that stuff. Or like, I like that style of stuff. When I want to play a game, but I don't want to think too much. I just want to make a choice and kind of see what happens. Especially because, like, this past week, I don't know if you watched any of the World Baseball Classic.
No.
But, oh my God, it was fucking
Very much
thrilling. I mean, I know you didn't watch any of it, but it was, oh my God. I was enthralled every game that was on the television. It was so fucking great. I had, like, no time to play other games or do anything else because I was like, oh, but the WBC is on. This thing is fucking awesome. I love it so much. It was great. And fucking Tuesday night, Japan beat the United States. It was great. It was great. I mean, I'm sad that the U.S. lost, but Shohei Ohtani against Mike Trout, fucking teammates on the Angels. Now they're playing Shohei's pitching for Japan. Mike Trout's the last hitter up for the United States. Fucking strikes out. Oh my God, it was this epic, crazy. It's what I think makes baseball why it is my favorite sport at the end of the day. Is because, like, in that moment, it so perfectly captured it. Every sport, right? The 4 major sports in this country, anyway. But most sports in this country that are super duper popular are team sports, right? Football is number one, like by a ridiculous margin. It's a team sport, right? Basketball, hockey, baseball, whatever. The thing that separates baseball, though, is as much as it is a team sport, those moments come down to a pitcher versus a batter. Comes down to there is one-on-one competition within the overall team sport. And I just think that's so fucking cool, and it's what makes baseball so special. You know, those moments that pop up where you're like, all right, you know, if this pitcher executes, then the batter is taken out of it. But if the batter executes what he's trying to do, then the team has to then pick up the pitcher because the batter won that interaction. But now it's the center fielder versus the base runner. Like, it's just all of these really interesting interactions. I fucking love it. It was so good. You should have watched it. You would have liked it. It's a good time.
I was too busy being thoroughly immersed in Star Wars, and Shadow and Bone came back, and we've got a lot of TV.
Yeah, we have not watched any of the new season of Mandalorian. We have not finished The Last of Us. Tiff did watch this weird BBC Stephen Moffat, David Tennant thing where he's a vicar and like ends up murdering a woman, and like Stanley Tucci's. That was fucking weird. I don't know. She was telling me about it, and it got very Stephen Moffat about halfway through her explanation. I was like, all right, I'm not listening anymore. You had me and you lost me. Much like a lot of Stephen Moffat stuff. You had me in the beginning, and now I'm just angry.
Now we've been very, very much enjoying our time, and we had to watch the movie for a theater near you. And
what was it this week or this month?
Violent Night.
Oh, nice. You hated it, didn't you?
I most certainly did not.
Really?
We'll talk about that at the that's coming up in our commercial break.
All right.
Talk about that a little bit. And speaking of which,
now that we're 2 hours into the show,
yeah, let's go ahead and take a little commercial break, and when we come back, we'll do the 10, 20, 30, 40, and hopefully it won't be full of shitty games. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from geekade.com. Stick around. And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and geekade.com.
First up, toads. They're adorable, mostly green. While they may spread diseases, they're great for all manner of other things, especially battling on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which is why on an all-new episode of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System podcast, Greg and Joe covered the 16-bit outing of everyone's favorite, totally not rip-off of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That sounds like a good time to you, which it damn well should. Be sure to tune in to the SNES podcast, episode 2078, which I think is probably just episode 278.
Definitely not 2078.
Which is episode 9,400,000,000. No, episode...
It might be 208. Hold on. I definitely fucked this up.
Well,
it's 207.
Wow, that's none of these.
Wow. I was right. The 8 was the misstep. It was 207, then I must have accidentally tapped the 8. 207.
That's right.
Nah, fuck it. It's episode 2078. This is from the future.
Episode 8.
There's 2078 Super Nintendo games, right?
God damn it. Well, it's a good thing you're editing this week, and none of this will be taken out. Episode 207, right. Battletoads and Battlemaniacs.
I ain't editing shit. It's going up raw.
Oh, I told you it's perfect. What have you had to edit so far? Nothing.
Honestly, I don't know. Everything seems fine, just as long as I get the audio lined up and throw a couple of sound effects in there. I like to add lots of fart sound effects whenever I edit.
For sure. And there was that whole section where you said really bad things about Italians. That probably has to be taken out. Other than that, you are weirdly racist against Italians, Kris.
I am.
It's very strange.
Especially for a guy with 2 Z's in his last
That's
name.
what I'm saying. Like, it's weird.
It's so weird.
It's very weird.
Next, in a theater near you, our letter pick was V, and we went with Sean's choice, Violent Night. But was the Christmas spirit with us while we watched this David Harbour murder people with a giant hammer? More importantly, what happens to a person's psyche when they watch all the Fast and Furious movies for 15 minutes a day? Find out how I handle living my life 1/4 mile at a time. In a theater near you, episode 25, Violent Night. So yes, I did like Violent Night quite a bit. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Paul, Sean thought it was a good time. Paul was the one who didn't really care for it.
Really?
He said it was fine, but he really thought it was just like a Die Hard with a Santa Claus. I was like, well, I mean, kinda, but that was kind of the joke. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. But I was very upset at the end of the episode when we got to our W pick, and I mean, spoiler alert for anybody who is on the edge of their seat listening to a theater near you, wondering what movie we're going to pick next. We did not go with my pick for W, which was The Wizard. I was very, very upset about that. I've been looking forward to an excuse to force everybody to watch that movie for quite some time now, and I'm going to have to wait until the next time we wrap around to W in like 2 years or however long it's going to take to get back
this
there.
episode is not The Wizard, but The Wiz, the greatest sequel ever made.
It is a sequel.
Oh.
It is a sequel that starts with W. What do you think it is?
A sequel that starts with W. I have no fucking idea. Where the Wild Things Are 2. No. Wild Things 2 without Nev Campbell and or not Nev Campbell? Yeah, and Denise Richards. Oh man, speaking of, hold on. There was a fucking. We bought some expansions for Cards Against Humanity, and one of the answer cards was a threesome with 1996 Denise Richards and 1998 Denise Richards. Yes. That's the best fucking answer ever. I have no idea. What?
Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Oh, God. Man. Out of all the movies
I'm
that
stoked.
start with
I haven't
W,
seen that in a long time.
Man, I know, but there's probably a reason.
I
like the
lot.
first Weekend at Bernie's. I don't remember liking the second one, but that doesn't mean anything at this point right now.
It's been a very long time since I've seen it. I'm curious to see how it's going to hold up.
What were the other choices for W?
My pick was The Wizard. Sean's pick was Weekend at Bernie's 2, and Paul picked Waitress.
Oh shit, Waitress is good, man.
Waitress is great, and I haven't seen it since I saw the Broadway show.
Yeah.
So I've been like thinking it would be cool to go back and watch that movie again. But, you know, I voted for Weekend at Bernie's too, since I couldn't vote for my own.
Yeah, that's fair. I would have picked What Dreams May Come. That movie fucked me up, man. God damn.
I wasn't in the mood to watch that again.
Have you ever seen that movie?
I have, yeah.
I saw that movie one time and went, well...
That's it.
God damn it.
I don't want to do that to myself again.
Man,
I rather enjoyed it, but no.
I felt things, like, gave me closure with my dad. It was fucking weird. It was a weird movie. Anyway, finally, before we get completely off the rails, did you hear that Starscream has betrayed the Decepticons to join the Autobots? What madness is this, right? Surely he can't. It's fucking Starscream. Can't believe Starscream, right? Well, hear both sides of this tale of intrigue, mystery, betrayal, and more espionage. Plus, find out the info about the UK audio cassette narrator, who is someone most people would know from his current video game voice acting work, as well as tons of anime work in the 80s and 90s. Don't miss Sparkcast episode 7,952. No, just 74. UK audio adventure espionage.
For all this and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on geekade.com. All right, we're back. We're back and better than ever. We're totally going to do this right now. We're going to make this shit happen. This is the 10, 20, 30, 40. This is when we talk about notable game releases from 10, 20, 30, and 40 years ago. In the month of March, So let's see. What's
just
up first?
quick emergency update, Chris. I am down to one beer in my beer fridge. I don't know what is wrong with me, but I'm going to have to do some shopping tomorrow.
Clearly.
Anyway,
I have more beer in my fridge, but you're not here.
I'm not. Why do you have beer?
Not.
Anyway, your wife.
I have a fucking bar in my basement.
I know. You don't drink.
Yeah, but Karen does, and Sean does. We had beer for Sean last night.
That's nice. Nobody gets
All right,
me
let's
beer
see.
when I go places. Bring your own, you asshole. All right, fine.
Come over here. We'll give you beer.
I'll drink. Don't fucking threaten me with a good time. I'll come drink your beer. Sleep
Threaten
on
you
your
with a good
couch.
time all I want. Let's see. Where's 2013? All right, here's 2013. All right.
All right. Put
So,
it in me. What do you got?
2013, we're looking at PS3, 360, Wii U, Wii DS, 3DS, PSP, and Vita. Let's see what we got cooking here.
All right.
Let's start with the PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3 in March. BioShock Infinite came out.
Yeah, good stuff. BioShock games were really cool and interesting, and Infinite was weird.
They were neat. They weren't really for me, but they
Yeah.
were neat. We had a couple of small releases like WRC, Pure Chess, Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel. Army of Two was a thing for a minute there, wasn't it?
Really was, and I don't know why. Like,
Yeah.
not even because that's
Not anymore.
Yeah, well, it's not even like my style of game or whatever. But even for that style of game, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it didn't strike me as all
Yeah.
that special. Terraria, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Terraria hit PlayStation 3.
and
That's
that
like
stuck
2D
around
Minecraft,
for a while.
right?
Yeah, it stuck around for a while.
Yeah, it's still active as far as I know. Something called Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory.
Yes.
Okay. Walking Dead Survival Instinct. Oh, I remember this one. Everyone hated this one. This was like the
Yeah.
shooter game,
Yeah.
right? That's
It was
got a
not
34 rating on. Oh, that's bad
It
times.
was not good, and like such a shame too, because The Walking Dead is such a good property. Like, there's so much that can be done with The Walking Dead. Like, still to this day, like there's so many story opportunities in there. But they just were like, well, let's just make it a shooter, and that'll be fine. Like, no, there's plenty of those. Do something interesting.
Talk to me about God of War Ascension. Which one is that? Is that an upscaling of one of the PSP games, or was this an original game?
No, it was an original game, but it was kind of like Diet God of War. Right? Like God of War. So 2013, we had already had, I think the rest of God of War 3 was out by then. I think.
It's a prequel to the initial God of War. 6
Yeah.
months have elapsed since Kratos stood before the bodies of his wife and child, his hands stained with their blood, duped by Ares into killing the only people he ever loved.
The only people he ever loved. Yeah, like, it's cool. It's God of War. Like, it had some good, I don't really remember it all that much because it was kind of on the short side. Like, it really was just like a throwaway kind of, not a throwaway is not fair.
But they were cranking out God of War games at this point. This was
Right.
before the reboot, and like they had really, like, there was a couple, they dropped them on PSP, and then they upscaled those for PS3, and like they were dropping God of Wars like almost annually at this point, I think.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the timeline now because God of War came out in 2005. Then God of War 2 came out in 2007. And then Chains of Olympus, which was the PSP game, that came out in 2008.
Shit, these were annual.
For a while, God of War 3 was 2010. Then Ghost of
Collection
Sparta
2009,
was the next PSP game, and that was good. And then
it was also 2010.
Yeah.
And then 2011.
Ascension was in 2013, and by that time, it was like, all right, we're kind of like, we're good here. You've told this story. It was good. It's more God of War. There was some cool multiplayer stuff in there, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. But it was more of like the story at that point, what was weird about this one was that the conclusion of God of War 3, like, it was such an epic story, and there had been all of this stuff that you'd gone through, that by that point it was like, I really don't need this. You know what I mean? Like, it was really an unnecessary game, which is a weird thing to say, because God of War is great. But it did, like, okay, you going back and telling me, I didn't love it. I would put it very low on the list of God of War games. Put it that way. It's still awesome.
I imagine you wouldn't be alone. This is something I didn't know exist. I didn't know Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance got VR missions.
Did it?
I had no idea. Apparently that was a thing.
Huh.
There's a lot of DLC. Tomb Raider.
The Tomb Raider reboot.
Yeah, the Tomb Raider reboot. Just Tomb Raider. Just Tom Raider.
Just Tom Raider. That game. Fuck that game, man. That game is outstanding.
Yeah, you lent me that, I think. Somebody lent me that for a brief period of time when it first came out. I was like, oh, this is really good.
It is out goddamn standing. That game is absolutely incredible. It's one of my favorite games of that generation. It is such a smart reimagining of what Tomb Raider was and had become, like, this kind of parody of itself almost. By the time that game came out, it really stripped away a lot of the bad that Tomb Raider had been for a long... Because Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider, like the original PlayStation Tomb Raider, is not a good game. It is an interesting game. It is a fun game. It is an ugly as shit game. And it's not great. And it got worse from there. Right? But it was such an identifiable PlayStation brand at that time. It was like, oh, this is so fucking cool. We all love Tomb Raider. And then it just continued to drop in quality and drop in quality. And it was okay for, like, most of that series. And then the 2013 reboot hits, and it's like, oh no, this is a very, very good game with interesting characters and a well-developed story and outstanding acting and all of those things, and it looked great. That's one of the games from that generation, like, that shit still holds up. That game's still incredible looking and plays so well. It's just so much fun to play. I fucking love that game.
I know you do. It's pretty cool. I rather appreciate it as well.
That game can get it. That's how much I like that game. It can get it.
Also, the PlayStation 3 got Runner 2, which came out last month on Wii U, and then it hit PlayStation.
What an outstanding game.
Yeah, my favorite in the series, without a doubt. Runner 2 is great. Fuel Overdose, Atelier Aisha, The Alchemist of Dust, Naruto Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, Germinator, MLB 2K13, MLB 13 the show.
I think 2K13 was the one where they were like, all right, we're done doing this. We're done. This is bad.
Nope. Just no.
This is real bad. Sorry, guys.
More DLC. God, this March list does not end. I'm moving on to a whole other page here. All right, there we go. That was it for March for PlayStation. Obviously, I didn't read everything because there's like a bajillion games, but okay. Solid, right? Yeah. We got Tomb Raider. We got Runner 2.
A God of War game.
God of War game, like Terraria. Some solid stuff. Not bad. Let's see how the 360 compares. Xbox 360, March. We've got, again, lots of DLC. Sniper Ghost Warrior 2, Terraria, Bioshock Infinite. More DLC, that stupid Army of Two game. More DLC. Aliens, Spidey, Gianna Sister Twisted Dreams. Gears of War Judgment. Hey, remember that from last week?
Fuck.
Gears of War Judgment. Gears of War Acumen.
I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I definitely won last week.
It's no football turd beast, but it'll
not.
do.
It's close. I'm so fucking mad.
damn
I
proud of that
talked to Tiff about it. I went upstairs. I was like, "You're not going to believe this bullshit that Kris just tried to pull."
Like I said, blame the internet.
I do.
Blame the dictionary.
We've clearly established the internet was a bad idea.
Darkstalkers Resurrection, that came out on PS3 as well. I just skipped over it.
I like that game. I fucking love Darkstalkers, though.
That's just it. It's just the old Darkstalkers. They made a game called Darkstalkers Resurrection. I was like, oh, they're making a new Darkstalkers.
Nope.
Oh, they're just reissuing the old ones, which is nice, but
which is great. I love the Darkstalkers games.
Come on.
I wish
give us a new one.
I really wish they would give me like a Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6, whatever update to like Darkstalkers. Those characters are so fucking cool.
Exactly. They got this great thing. They're just sitting on it. It's just like Darkstalkers and Power Stone just hanging out together, being like,
my God.
Come on.
What do we have to do?
Got so many really cool fighting franchises that they like. Rival Schools is just sitting there. Plasma Sword's just sitting there.
I fucking love Plasma Sword. Oh, the game's awesome. God damn it.
Chilling.
I mean,
anyway.
Don't get me wrong. I fucking love Street Fighter. I love it.
Yeah, Street Fighter's great. And I'm glad they're putting the resources in to make them good. But
Darkstalkers like speaks to who I am. You know?
Yeah. I think just the fighting game market's a little bit more limited.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It doesn't have to be. We don't need all of them all the time. But like every couple of years, it would be nice to be like, all right, here's a new Darkstalkers.
Or at least
Power Sword.
At least give me a Darkstalkers character or two as fucking DLC in a Street Fighter game. Nothing else. It doesn't have to make any sense. It's Street Fighter. That shit hasn't made sense ever.
Let's see. Back to we got some Connect sports here. We got frame bowling, penalty saver, and ping pong.
Man, it was such a cool idea. The Connect.
Forza Horizon pre-order pack, Angry Birds trilogy, and
you remember Angry
Tomb
Birds?
Raider, Naruto, MLB, Mass Effect 3 Citadel. Yep, looks like that's pretty much it. Yeah, and there's Runner 2. So it looks like it was pretty similar. Oh wait, no, Runner 2 was last month for Xbox. So PlayStation got that I think a week or so after everyone else. But other than that, pretty similar month, both platforms. Just swap out Gears of War Judgment for the God of War game, and you're pretty much same on both platforms.
Okay. I mean, that's not a bad month though. Like,
it's not bad.
If you're an Xbox guy, you know, you got a Gears of War game, which you love, and you got a fucking really awesome Tomb Raider game. And if you're a PlayStation guy, you got a God of War game, you love God of War, and you got a really awesome Tomb Raider game. Yeah, that's not bad.
No, those were solid months. You know, not like, oh my God, but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
For lousy Smarch, it's not bad at all.
Smarch. Well, let's see how Wii U held up. Let's see if Wii U stacked up. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate.
Yeah,
that was a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal.
Not our bag of tea, but that's definitely something worth pointing out.
I do
DreamWorks
really want it to be though. I want Monster Hunter to be a thing that I am super duper into.
I feel like if I started playing it in front of John, he'd become obsessed with it. Which maybe I'll do that one of these days. See if I can get him off Minecraft.
Yeah.
Really, and I don't mind him playing Minecraft. I mind him watching the Minecraft videos on YouTube of dudes just bros broing it up.
Well,
Minecraft.
also,
anyway.
like it's Minecraft. How much longer can you Minecraft for?
It's infinite. It's like Legos, but in a video game. Just build whatever he wants. It's all kinds of weird shit.
Sure, but at some
I don't know.
point,
kids are weird.
Kids are weird.
Anyway, we've got the Crude's Prehistoric Party. Need for Speed Most Wanted You. I heard that was actually pretty good. Walking Dead Survival Instinct, also probably shit on Wii U. Lego City Undercover, now that's a good game.
Is it?
I mean, from what I've heard, if you like Lego games, Lego City Undercover is great. It was pretty universally acclaimed on the Wii U, and then eventually, I think just this generation, it got ported to modern platforms like Xbox and PlayStation and Switch.
Huh.
But it was a Nintendo exclusive for a while there. It was apparently really good.
I don't know.
What apparently wasn't really good was The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, man. I really
forgot this game even came out.
I really liked Andrew Garfield. Thought he did a really good job. but
this game was apparently pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
It was not a mediocre Spider-Man.
It's a bummer. Man.
Okay, that's well, the Wii U was definitely Wii Uing. Oh man, and this is like, you look back on it. You look back on the Wii U and you're like, oh, there's so many great games in this. What a great platform. But then when you go to the month to month, and you remember what it was like being a Wii U owner and being like,
Oof.
well, I don't like Monster Hunter and I don't like Lego games. So there's literally nothing for me this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad times.
Yeah, that sucks.
Let's see. How about the old original Wii? What is the Wii doing? Still around in March. Just the Crude's prehistoric party.
Oof. That's not what you want.
No, it's not. Granted, it's the original Wii, but still, that's not what you want. Let's see how. Let's do this one backwards. Let's see how a regular DS is doing before we go to 3DS.
All right.
The regular DS in March had exactly one game. It was a DSiWare game called I Am in the Movie. So let's see if the 3DS did any better. And already it's looking pretty good, or at least much better. Oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. Starting at the bottom. Okay. We got a Naruto game, powerful Shippuden. Sure. Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate. Not a great game, but one I respected for trying to make the Lords of Shadow games into something 2D. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. I like it. It's not great.
This is like the DNA that eventually led to Metroid Dread. So that's what makes it so interesting now in retrospect. There was some DLC for the Fire Emblem Awakening game. This ridiculous game called Kersploosh. I bought this game. It's literally a game about throwing rocks into a well. It's fucking stupid, but I really liked it. Nano Assault EX was pretty cool. Monster High, Skulltimate Roller Maze, more Fire Emblem DLC. Oh, hey, look, it's that Crude's game again. And the 3DS version of Monster Hunter Ultimate. Yet more Fire Emblem DLC.
Good God.
Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon was this month.
That's not bad.
I still haven't played through that. That was a surprisingly successful game. Like it's sold really well, and it was I'm pretty sure it was a pretty big surprise to Nintendo how well it sold, which is what made, Luigi's Mansion 3 happen way faster than 2 did. I'm really glad it did, because Next Level Games did a pretty good job with it from what I played. I didn't finish this one, because again, I don't love playing on the 3DS. I love 3DS games. I just want to play them on my TV.
Yeah.
There's a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, more Fire Emblem DLC, and there's Harmo Knight. Harmo Knight, I already talked about this earlier in the episode. Yep. I didn't realize that this was a 10-year anniversary of Harmo Knight. What a great game. Really, really great game. Like that a lot. And that was it for 3DS. So that's pretty solid. Luigi's Mansion, that's obviously a bigger name now than we knew it was when it first came out. But that wound up being a big success for them. Harmo Knight was great. Monster Hunter sold way better on 3DS than Wii U. And there was a game about throwing rocks into a well called Kersploosh. Over on the PlayStation front, the regular PSP in March of 2013. Oh, I was looking at the wrong year. Do we even have anything March 2013? Let's see. January, February, March 19th, 2013. Carnage Heart EXA.
No idea.
Yeah, beats me. How about the Vita? We have something called Quiet Please. We have Neko Mimi Musume ga Seki no Hatemade Sanra o Tabini Iku no Da Da Da.
I loved that one and its sequel. I'm a big fan. The sequel,
NMGSNHSOTIN Da 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 too. Yeah, that's a good one. Snake. Really, just released Snake? Okay. Look at his screenshot. It's fucking Snake. The cell phone thing. It's on Vita. Good for you.
Yeah.
WRC3, Machinarium. Machinarium is supposed to be pretty cool. Pinball Arcade DLC, Dead or Alive
Machinarium,
5
the little robot looking thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that game's pretty cool. It's like a little puzzle. adventure game. You gotta like figure out like each stage is like a new puzzle to get the little robot from point A to point B. It's got a cute little art style. It's cool.
There's a bunch of weird shit like Duke's Do, The Sexy Seashore. Like a lot of just look like cell phone games dumped on the Vita store. Plus MLB 13 The Show, and really not much else of note. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right, look, this was not a wash, all right? There was at least something solid on all current active platforms. The legacy platforms, like the original DS and PSP, not and Wii, not great, but that's fine at this point. But all of them, this was not a full wash, so I feel okay about that. 10 years ago was tolerable. I think better than it's been.
I really love that fucking Tomb Raider game. I think it is a complete win just because of that.
Rad.
Yeah.
Let's see what 20 years holds. 2003. So let's start with PlayStation 1. March 2003 had a PlayStation 1 game.
All right.
And it was the dreadful Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22. The fact that this game released in 2003 is absolutely hilarious. This game insane. Was, when it originally released in Japan, I think this was like close to 10 years old at this point by the time it released in Japan, which was barely an upgrade from the Super Nintendo games it was based on. And but this was when they finally started releasing Dragon Ball games in America. They're like, fuck it, just slap it, do it,
them all out.
Put Dragon Ball Z on a box, sell it for $20, it'll sell. And it did. It's a shame because it's not a very good game.
Yeah.
But there you go. PlayStation 1 still cranking out games. Let's see how PlayStation 2 did in March, which we have Def Jam Vendetta. That was a very big deal.
The love that I have for Def Jam Vendetta is absurd. That game took a concept that is so fucking ridiculous. Let's just take all the hip-hop artists we have on Def Jam and put them in this dope-ass wrestling game because WWE doesn't want to make dope-ass wrestling games anymore. They want to go to THQ because WWE has always been, and I don't fault them for this, I suppose, but has always been about making the most money possible at the expense of their product. And this incredible wrestling engine that was responsible for so many fun games was just sitting there, and they were like, fuck it, rappers. And it was incredible. That game fucking rules. I love it.
There's looks to be some other pretty cool stuff this month too. I mean, Gallop Racer, whatever, Music Maker was kind of a neat thing. Primal, which was a first-party PlayStation game.
Yeah, it never really went anywhere else, but it was a cool game.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. Auto Modelista, the cel-shaded racing game from Capcom, Modelista. That game was cool as hell.
Such a cool game.
That's a good one.
And it was such again, I mean, and you know this, living your life 1/4 mile at a time, car culture was so huge at that point. There were so many games that were, all about the fucking just modding culture on import cars and whatever. And Auto Modelista was such an interesting take on it, and a really good racing game beyond that.
Apparently really didn't review very well. Got a 66 Metascore, which is...
I disagree.
Yeah. Let's see. Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, Dynasty Warriors 4, probably my favorite game to release this month. Just not even looking at the other platforms, but I don't know what's going to top this one specifically. Although actually I do. But just thinking about what day today is, I think I know exactly which one's going to top this.
Yeah, yeah.
At least for PlayStation, Amplitude.
Oh, what a good game.
I was obsessed with Amplitude.
What a good game.
I didn't play Frequency, and I went back to play Frequency after I learned about Amplitude. This is what Guitar Hero came from. This is what they did before Guitar Hero. Oh my god, Amplitude freaking rules. I love this game.
Yeah, it is an excellent, excellent game. And what's so cool about those games too, they hold up. they're as good today as they ever have been.
Absolutely. The music's still great because it was good music back then too.
Yeah.
But man, I was just absolutely obsessed with this.
There's a Weezer track in Amplitude, isn't there?
Yeah, Dope Nose.
Yeah.
Good times. Love this game.
Amplitude's outstanding.
5. Definitely top 10 PS2 games for me, no question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Micro Machines, Mobile Light Force 2, Piglet's Big Game, Clock Tower 3.
Yeah.
King of Route 66, Rayman 3, WWE Crush Hour.
Oh, God.
Let's put wrestlers in monster trucks for some goddamn reason.
What if we do Twisted Metal and monster trucks, but put Stone Cold in there? No, don't fucking do that. That's not a thing you should do.
Let's see. MotoGP 3, World Series Baseball 2K3, MLB Slugfest 2004, World Soccer Winning 11-6 International, Aero Elite Combat Academy. There it is. Zone of the Enders Second Runner.
Yeah, man.
That's a cool one.
Oh, Zone of the
MLB
Enders.
2004, MVP 2003.
Oh, fuck.
My Street Tenchu, Wrath of Heaven.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
Grand Prix Challenge, and finally All-Star Baseball 2004. That is a fucking killer month, PlayStation fans, right there.
It's really as we go through now, especially at this point in the PlayStation 2's life cycle, it's unfair how good that system was.
There's some really good stuff on there. Really good stuff.
What a fucking month that is.
But let's see what the competition has to offer, because I feel like this was going to be a good month in this generation all around, because I feel confident that the GameCube had a good month. But let's see what Xbox had. We got Red Faction 2, Furious Karting, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which, I mean, I'm happy it was there, but that game was a Dreamcast game.
For sure.
Came out on PlayStation 2 and Xbox. I'm glad it did, but that's a Dreamcast game to me. State of Emergency, which I think was already out elsewhere at this point. Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, Via Rally 3, Roller Coaster Tycoon, The Sims. Yeah, I think this is the first time we're seeing The Sims on console.
Sims is always a big deal.
Yeah, and I think the first one...
It's never been for me. I don't get it. I don't that's one of the games where there's so many of the games that we talk about, like Gears of War and Halo or whatever. I'm like, it's not for me, but I get it. I don't get The Sims. I don't get it.
Yeah, it never clicked with me either. I'm trying to see if this came out on PlayStation first.
I am just...
Or did the Xbox get the first home console version of The Sims?
Know. I've never had anybody be able to explain to me why they like The Sims either. Like people that that I've known that are big into The Sims, I'm like, what is it about this game that you like? And they're like, I don't know, it's just The Sims. And I'm like, that's not a fucking reason. That's not a reason. I could say, I don't know, it's just WWE Crush Hour. Like, that's the same fucking argument. It doesn't make... And I don't know.
Oh, it was in January. I knew it showed up on PlayStation. Yeah, so PS2 had the first console release of The Sims. But still, it coming to Xbox is a big hairy deal.
It's a huge deal.
I'm with you. I've never really gotten it either.
I don't get it. I need somebody to explain it to me in a way, explain it like I'm 5. I don't understand what makes this game interesting or fun or how I feel about the gibberish talk to begin with. Throw that on real people in a weird but they have to pee and I won't let them. What's fucking fun about that, you masochist? Fucking wrong with you?
Well, I tell you, Dan, this isn't looking great for the Xbox. We got World Racing, UFC Tap Out 2, Blackstone Magic and Steel, Rayman 3, Batman Dark Tomorrow. That's a bad video game right there. Tao Feng, Fist of the Lotus.
That's not
good. That's a thumbs down right there. MLB Slugfest 2004, okay.
Sure.
Rainbow Six 3, but I think this is a re-release in a pack. MVP 2003, World Series Baseball 2K3, Murakumo Renegade Mech Pursuit, High Heat, and that was it.
God, there were so many baseball games. I mean, MVP was great
Yeah.
back then. It really was, no matter what system you were playing it on. But, oof, that's a bad month for Xbox.
I mean, it's hard to say that a bad month came when you got Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but still not...
comparatively speaking...
Yeah, compared to what we just heard on the PlayStation 2,
it's not Zone of the Enders in Metal Gear Solid 2 Subsistence. It is neither of those.
And whatever else.
Automodelista.
Yeah, Automodelista was there. Like there was a handful of... That was a solid month. This was
Primal,
solid month on Xbox.
Yeesh.
How about my friend the GameCube? How did you do
Garbage.
in March?
Not a
not
gem in the bunch.
We got Def Jam Vendetta, which didn't hit Xbox at this point.
I thought it did. That's weird.
That is, when did it? It must have come to Xbox eventually.
I don't know. I certainly played it on PlayStation, but
Def Jam Vendetta. No, it skipped Xbox. It was just PlayStation 2 and GameCube. What?
God, that sucks.
Red Faction 2 also hit the GameCube. Backyard Baseball, Batman Dark Tomorrow, Army Men Air Combat Blue, Superman Shadow Apocalypse. Okay.
Was it?
Sims. It was fine. It was a Superman game that wasn't actively bad, so it was like, okay.
I
it's not actively good.
The only good
but
Superman
it's not
game is
actively
the
bad.
Taito arcade game.
Let's see. The Sims also hit the GameCube. I'll just save that one for last. Piglet's Big Game, Transworld Surf, Crush Hour, Slugfest, Rayman, Men in Black. Oh, wait, that was last month. All right, so then Wind Waker.
Yeah, little game.
Yeah, little game. Only my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, obviously, any time you got a major Nintendo platform with a mainline Zelda game released for it, that's going to be a big deal that month. But, you kind of throw in a Red Faction 2 and Def Jam Vendetta on top of that, and a non-terrible Superman game, The Sims. That's a pretty solid month for the GameCube. It's not the PlayStation 2's month, but then again, I'd say it's overall equal to that just from a Nintendo fan perspective because we got Wind Waker.
And Wind Waker is such a big deal. A big deal.
Especially retroactively. Like, everyone was so mad at it when it came out, but like, it reviewed incredibly well because it's a really freaking good game. Absolutely just mind-blowingly good game.
Yeah, that is definitely the Xbox pulling up the rear, unfortunately.
Yeah, no question. Like, there's an argument to be made between who had the better month, PlayStation or GameCube, depending on how much you like Zelda, but either one was a pretty solid month. The Xbox,
and again,
not great.
Metal Gear and Zelda going up against each other.
Good times. Let's see how the Game Boy Advance fared in good old March of 2003. We've got, Super Puzzle Fighter 2.
That's a fucking great game.
It's a great game. It was really cool to finally have that portable. I think that was the first portable iteration of that game. Disney Sports Motocross, whatever. Samurai Jack, Amulet of Time. I played a few minutes of that, I think. It was neat.
Yeah, Samurai Jack games have always been pretty decent.
Lost Vikings got ported to GBA. Bruce Lee, Return of the... What? Bruce Lee, Return of the Legend is sitting at an 82 meta score. Huh.
Well, apparently I should have picked that instead of the Batman Return of the Joker.
Never would have imagined that was actually a good game, but okay. Superman Countdown to Apocalypse, apparently that was quite bad. Oh, geez, Pokemon Ruby?
It was just a countdown game. That's all. It was just put the card in and went 10, 9, 8. Fuck. This is what I paid for?
So Nintendo dropped Pokemon Ruby and Wind Waker in the same month. That doesn't seem right. Pokemon Ruby came out in March? Where's Pokemon Sapphire? Something doesn't smell right about that.
No, I disagree. I call shenanigans. Shenanigans and malarkey.
Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire came out... Oh, they did come out March 19th, 2003.
Son of a bitch.
Weird. Yeah. Okay.
That's a big hairy deal.
Shit.
Every fucking,
yeah, that's a huge hairy deal.
Every Pokemon game like that is a big stinking deal. Still to this day, big fucking deal.
Apparently, these were very well liked ones too.
Yeah.
Ultimate Brain Games, Slugfest, a Muppets game, Bond, Nightfire, Bratz, Sega Rally Championship. Oh, Mega Man and Bass.
I know.
Good game, not on that platform.
Yeah, I know. Man.
Do not like the Game Boy Advance version of that game at all.
No.
The Super Famicom version is much better. It's still not a great Mega Man game. It's fine, but...
It's the Mega Man, not the Mega Man, the Game Boy Advance version struggles. Which,
I did not care for it at all.
If you'd like to hear our thoughts on, you should go back and listen to our ranking episode of the Mega Man games.
Yeah. Sonic Advance 2, that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Rayman 3. I liked the Sonic Advance games. When they were still making the 2D Sonic games, I think they were still pretty solid. All-Star Baseball, Wings, Nope, now we're back in February. Never mind. Rayman 3 was the last one. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Pokemon... Lost Vikings port.
It's really hard for
yeah.
anything else to get any oxygen when you put a Pokemon game out.
Yeah.
Like, that really does just kind of take up all the air in the fucking room. Whatever platform you're releasing it for. You know, back then, being the portable stuff was just like, all right, well, this is the thing then. I release anything else this month.
Well, I mean, it was March 18th, so the stuff that came before it, like, I think Mega Man and Bass got totally overshadowed by Sonic Advance.
Yeah.
Because the Sonic Advance game sold really well. Yeah. Then not great month, but not a bad month, all things considered. Hey, we got a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Yeah, PS2, GameCube, GBA, all very solid months. Xbox, fine at best.
Yeah, that's being generous.
Let's see how 30 years ago did. 1993. The only notable arcade game I found was Fighter's History. I didn't see any major PC releases from this month. So let's start with NES. And, I rebooted this thing, so all these numbers are wrong. I mean,
Fighter's History is a weird one, man. I like a lot of those SNK games. Fighter's History is a weird one. I feel like that was in the time where the SNK fighting games kind of all felt similar. Like they were really
trying to find their voice that wasn't just Street Fighter's really popular, let's do that too.
Yeah. You know, like it was really hard to kind of discern which game was going to be the one that took off, you know, because like you had Fighter's History, you had Fatal Fury, you had World Heroes. I feel like there was like one or two others too. I mean, because Samurai Showdown's a different animal. Not as much back then even. It's cool though. Like Fighter's History is cool. It's got an interesting mix of fighting styles and different characters, and I've always really liked the SNK character designs.
This isn't SNK.
This is
Data East.
Sorry, this is Data East. Fuck.
This is the Data East one. Yeah.
Never mind. I'm just talking.
I don't have much. I don't have much appreciation for this one personally.
All right, never mind. I don't know what I'm fucking thinking of. I was just talking for a minute.
You're probably thinking Art of Fighting.
Yes, that is what. Thank you.
Yeah,
Art of Fighting is the one. I was thinking, never mind. I take it all back. This game fucking sucks.
Meanwhile, on the NES, the NES still kicking in 1993. Jesus. March 93, we got Alien 3, Fire and Ice, aka Solomon's Key 2, Mickey's Safari in Letterland, and Zen the Intergalactic Ninja.
I like that game.
Zen's pretty cool. What little I've played of it. Fire and Ice is great. I like that game a lot. I didn't play the other two.
I always like the Zen the Intergalactic Ninja stuff. Bless you.
Thank you.
Because I just thought that comic was so weird. It was so interesting.
Never read it.
I remember getting like the first issue because that was right in smack dab in the middle of chromium super embossed fucking rare ultra premium #1 fucking, it gives you a blowjob when you buy it. This is the best comic book ever. And there was a Joe Quesada cover for Zen Intergalactic Ninja #1, and I just thought it was the coolest fucking cover ever. I was like, what is this? I love everything about this title is just speaking to me. Zen, alright, so it's Japanese. Intergalactic, fucking sweet. It's sci-fi. Ninjas, yes! More of this, please. This could not be any more for me. And then I read it and I was like, I don't really get it, but I'm not going to tell anybody that. I'm going to pretend that I understand all of this.
I understand and love it.
And love everything about it.
Well, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get all my dates back in order because Chrome updated and it closed all my windows, and then I opened them back up, and like the other pages were just fine, but these were not. So just gotta get these back into business. There we are, back into March. All right, let's see what was next. The Super Nintendo. Let's see how the Super Nintendo did. We got the Combat Tribes, an Indo Way of the Ninja, Spin Dizzy Worlds, Super Conflict, Super Strike Eagle, Tecmo Super NBA Basketball, and none of that matters because Star Fox.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Star Fox was monumental when that came out. The original Star Fox, the Super Nintendo, pushing 3D polygons on a Super Nintendo, the FX chip, like this was absolutely monumental when it came out. The game was huge. And granted, nothing of note really went up against it. But even if it did, I feel like Star Fox would have overpowered just about anything this month. This is all anyone was talking about, like just from a technical perspective. They were talking about the FX chip, and it was a super fun game that had those weird puppets to advertise it with. Like Star Fox was a movement, man. It was great.
Yeah,
I still love that game.
It has never been my favorite, but of all the Star Fox stuff, like this is the one that I can look back to and be like, all right, I kind of get it.
Thought it was really fun. Loved its soundtrack, but wow, now I'm looking over at the Genesis list. The Sega Genesis, I don't know if they had, I'm not looking at the titles, I'm just looking at the sheer quantity of titles. There were a lot more games on Genesis this month. So let's see.
I would like to call a timeout real quick, though, and say that I am not a fucking psychopath, because on the Neo Geo, there is an SNK published sequel to Fighter's History called Fighter's History Dynamite. I am not as crazy as I thought I was. So I untake back most of what I said.
Okay, fair enough.
I was like, I'm sitting here looking up stuff. I'm like, I really think that there's some SNK shit in here somewhere. I know I'm not that much of an
SNK
asshole.
through line somewhere. There it is. I just figured you were thinking about Art of Fighting, because like Art of Fighting, Fighter's History, they're pretty similar names, and there's games were a dime a dozen back then.
Yeah.
Seemed like a pretty honest mistake, but all right.
Yeah,
that's fair. We'll do that.
I'm not as much of a dick as I thought I was.
All right. Meanwhile, what did the Sega Genesis have to go up against that mostly mediocre, except that one awesome game month for Super Nintendo? And I think they did pretty okay here. Out of This World, Battletoads, Deadly Moves, Eternal Elemental Master, Jack Nicklaus Power Golf Challenge, James Bond 007 The Duel. They got a port of King of the Monsters, Megalomania, Outrun 2019, PGA Tour Golf 2, Powermonger, Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster's Hidden Treasure, Wolfchild, X-Men, Race Driving, and Blaster Master 2.
Okay.
All right. The Genesis port of Battletoads is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Out of This World is a neat game. Elemental Master is kind of a neat game. King of the Monsters, I played that on Super Nintendo. I don't know how the Genesis port is, but I imagine it's just fine. King of the Monsters freaking rules.
Yeah.
Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster's Hidden Treasure was a really good game. I remember that X-Men game being a pretty big deal. I don't think it's very good, but I know it sold a ton, and my friends and I played the heck out of that.
Yeah.
My friend Greg had that one, and we used to play that a lot because this was like the cartoon was super popular around 1993. So, yeah, X-Men was great, and of course, Blaster Master 2, not a great game, and nobody cares about it but me. But you know what? I care about it, and it released in March 1993. God damn it, cool ass game,
Blaster ass game.
So wow, that's kind of tough. Like, you got a handful of goods, like solids on Genesis versus one great and a handful of meh.
Yeah.
I think it's a wash. I think that's a,
yeah.
I think those are two Hadoukens canceling each other out. Like, they're good months for both of them. Like, good time to be a Super Nintendo or a Genesis fan. Let's see how the old Sega CD is doing with one release in March of 1993, The Adventures of Willie Beamish. Moving on to the TurboGrafx 16, Bomberman 93.
Yeah.
That was a TurboGrafx CD, actually. I don't have any TurboGrafx 16 games this month. I don't think there were any TurboGrafx 16 games in March 1993. Let me double check my math here. 93, February. Oh yeah, look at that. Bomberman 93 was on there. Oh yeah, that is of the TurboGrafx 16 games. I'm just a goofball. Yeah. So Bomberman 93, TurboGrafx 16. I don't see anything for TurboGrafx CD. That's there. I was backwards. Neo Geo got Fatal Fury 2. That was it. Game Boy? What am I on here? This is Game Boy. All right, let's see. Game Boy had Kid Dracula, huzzah. Mylon Secret Castle, Sumo Fighter, Tumble Pop, Great. No, and that was it. Ugh. Game Boy. I mean, Kid Dracula's great, but like,
sure. I mean, Kid Dracula's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry.
Great is very strong.
Great is being very very kind. Kid Dracula's fun.
It's cool.
It's a great idea.
It's like, oh, this is neat. Cool.
But as far as actually playing through the game, it's good. It's solid.
It's
but
fine.
Mylon Secret Castle.
It's fine. Yeah.
I've never played the Game Boy version of Mylon Secret Castle. I don't even think I knew that existed. Can't imagine it's very good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a thing I want to do.
Sumo Fighter and Tumble Pop. Yeah, how did Game Gear do? Did Game Gear do better than Game Boy in March of 1993? If you're ever going to do it, this is the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. March, Krusty's Funhouse and Tailspin.
Nope, didn't.
Okay, not a great month for handhelds. Very solid month for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. And NES hanging in there with Zen and Fire and Ice. So,
it's not
definitely
bad.
not a wash. We're doing well here. We got 1 year left. We got the 40. Here we are in the 40. Let's see. In 1983, arcades saw notable releases Gyros, Food Fight, and Congo Bongo.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, Food Fight's fun. I had never played that before the Atari 50 collection. That's actually a really fun game. Congo Bongo's neat. Congo Bongo's like that. Sega was just like, fuck it, we're going to make Donkey Kong, but in isometric 3D, kind of. It's going to be great.
Kinda. Yeah, it's a weird game. I dig it, though.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. That's pretty neat for arcades. Game & Watch, we got both Donkey Kong 2 and Mario Brothers released for the Game & Watch. It's pretty cool. There were unfortunately no Vectrex games this month. And let's go back to the Atari 2600. Well, looks like a pretty good month. What do we got here? We got Bermuda Triangle, Centipede, Crazy Climber, Entombed, Frankenstein's Monster, Killer Satellites, Piece O' Cake, Shootin' Gallery, Subscan, and TaxScan. Centipede, obviously.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. Bermuda Triangle, I feel like I remember being a pretty fun game. Crazy Climber's neat. Not overly familiar with the rest of these. I own Piece O' Cake, but I don't think I've ever actually played it. It's in a really weird shaped cartridge. Okay.
I don't really have anything else to add to that other than...
Yeah, I don't... don't have a lot to throw out here. I did play a lot of Centipede on 2600. I really liked that game. That was my first experience with it. So playing it with the joystick is what's memorable to me. And then finding it in an arcade years later and be like, what is this? This is amazing. And it's a really solid port of Centipede.
Yeah, Centipede's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. What about Atari's competition? We got the Magnavox Odyssey 2 had a single game release, the iMagic title Demon Attack. Demon Attack came out on Odyssey 2? This can't be the same Demon Attack.
That's one of the worst kind of attacks you can have.
Did iMagic release games on Odyssey 2? That doesn't seem right.
Research.
Demon Attack, Magnavox Odyssey 2. Well, would you look at that? This is Demon Attack.
Son of a beast.
I did not know that this came out on Odyssey 2. Wow. Demon Attack's a really neat game. This is a weird looking port. Odyssey 2 is really a blind spot in my ultra retro game era there. I haven't played a lot of Odyssey 2 games. I didn't know iMagic put games on it.
Yeah,
wild. It doesn't sound anywhere near as cool as the 2600 version of Demon Attack, which I put a ton of time into that when I was a kid. But it looks like it plays pretty well. It's fairly solid.
All right.
Huh. Okay, neat. Well, you learn something new every day. How about the Intellivision? Let's see. Tommy Tallarico went back in time and personally programmed and released Dracula, Ice Trek, USCF Chess, and Vectron. Also chess. Tommy invented chess. I don't know if you knew that.
It's a fucking Tommy Tallarico world. We're all just living in it.
I'll just live. Yeah, okay. I have no history with any of these Intellivision games.
No, I don't
I'm
either.
Totally unfamiliar with them. They don't sound like. All right, I gotta know. I gotta know what Dracula for Intellivision looks like. I must know. Let's
Probably
see.
the best thing ever.
Intellivision Dracula. Okay. We've got. Wow, you know what, Dan? I think you're right. This may be the greatest thing ever. Is this freaking real? This can't.
All right, I'm looking it up. I know this isn't great.
You gotta look. You gotta see this.
But
you gotta see this.
This is why we don't do this live. Because live stream would just be like, all right, let me look this up real quick. Hold on. Intellivision.
It's like a side-scrolling.
Dracula.
You're just walking the streets as Dracula eating people.
You just biting people. Just biting Democrats. Oh God, the cover art is fucking. That's something. All right.
I haven't.
Who's Dracula? Is it the guy with the red on? Because I just see a cop walking, and he just walked right by him. Ooh, there's a graveyard in the back. All right, this video I'm watching, Player 1, Night 1 on Medium. Wow, the moon went by really fast.
This is
magic. That guy's definitely Dracula because he's wearing black and just turned into a bat, kind of.
Yeah, and he's just like chomping people. This is outstanding.
He just walks by this fucker and the guy disappeared. Like, his mouth kind of opens, but it's like a weird poof. Pac-Man head, and then this other thing is gone. 50 points. This might be the best game ever made. If this is what the Amico was bringing, I'd have fucking pre-ordered one. Oh, this guy. Why did that guy just come out of his house? You could see Dracula was standing at the door waiting to fucking chomp him, and he was like, I'm gonna make a run for it, dude. Like, Dracula can't open doors. You have to invite a vampire in. Just stay in your house.
This is outstanding.
Oh, no, he's bad. He's getting chased by something. What is that pink thing flying? Oh, my God.
Well, let's see if the Atari 5200 can compete. I don't know.
Against Dracula? How can you compete?
Yeah.
It's fucking Dracula. Oh, my God, there's a white wolf now and a pterodactyl. I'm not sure what's happening. Video games.
Well, let's see. The 5200 got kicks, Kicks is a great game.
It's not fucking Dracula.
It's not Dracula Roman Streets. ColecoVision had Donkey Kong Jr.
Donkey Kong Jr.
No, sorry, that was February. March was Space Fury. That's not Donkey Kong Jr.
No.
That's not Dracula. Yeah, no, hands down, Intellivision wins this month.
Yeah, no, this Dracula game's amazing. Oh, that guy's wearing green. He must be worth 100 points. No, what happened? Now is he a zombie now? Oh my god, I'm enthralled. This is better than the WBC. Oh no, there's a fucking cop walking around with a billy club. No, why are there points on the ground? I don't understand what's happening, Kris.
But I'm glad it's happening. All right, that's it. That's the 10, 20, 30, 40 for this month. Nothing's going to top Dracula. Dracula for Intellivision might be the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Tomb Raider reboot? Fuck that. Dracula on the Intellivision.
Fuck that, Dracula.
Wind Waker? Eat a dick. Fucking Dracula on the Intellivision.
I'm so glad I know about this game now. I feel that this whole evening was worth it.
Oh man, I'll tell you, you bite certain people if they're wearing green, you fucking open your face at them, and then they start wearing yellow, and apparently there's zombies that can attack the fucking British police officers that are. And why did he throw his billy club? But it was pointy.
I think they're not billy clubs. I think they're stakes.
Oh, why though? He looks like a police officer. He's wearing blue. This is an old game. This zombie is really trying to get this cop or hunter. I'm not sure what it is. What a fucking wild ass game this is. Oh my god. We might have to live stream this over the summer.
I mean, you threatened me with a good time. All right, that's it. That's all I've got because I'm going to pass out.
No, I'm wide awake now.
It's almost midnight.
I've got a third wind.
Thank you, Dracula. All right, that is our show. Join us next week when we'll be doing the PSP starter kits. The PSP is an interesting system with a heck of a unique library. It should be fun. You know what? Just real quick, I'm happy that the 10, 20, 30, 40 turned out to be good. There was solid stuff in every single decade.
There really was. This was.
I'm glad the drought's over.
Yeah.
Last 2 months have been pretty sad. This been good stuff.
Last 2 months have been you and me going, yep.
Yeah, what's that? That wasn't good.
Those were video games that did indeed come out.
All right, we are on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, me, for making the show this. Nah,
Who
don't.
said that?
No, Evan's busy right now, so I'll be editing
busy.
the show. So I guess blanket apology, because it seems every time I edit this show, I fuck up the sound in some way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna do my best. I can get it right on all my other shows. For some reason, whenever I edit SAG, it turns into. I always get a message from Mike, like almost every time SAG goes up and I edit. He's like, "Hey, if you want to listen to the show this week, something's wrong with it." It's like, "Yeah, that was me. I don't know what it was, and it's too late to fix it now. It's fine. Everyone's fine."
It's not too late. I just
How are you?
don't care. Just not.
No, but Evan's selling for T-Turtle now.
Yeah.
He's got a job with T-Turtle, which has some like really awesome shirts that I want to buy. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, thanks everybody. On behalf of Dracula and myself, keep playing Dracula.
Bleh.